أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم قال يا آدم أنبئهم بأسمائهم فلما أنبأهم بأسمائهم قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم غيب السماوات والأرض وأعلم ما تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس أبى واستكبر وكان من الكافرين.
Remember when your Lord said to the angels, I am to create a deputy on the earth. They said, will you create there one who will spread disorder on the earth and cause bloodshed, while we proclaim your purity, along with your praise and sanctify your name? He said, certainly I know what you know not. And he taught Adam the names, all of them, then presented them before the angels, and said, tell me their names if you are right. They said, to you belongs all purity. We have no knowledge except what you have given us. Surely you alone are the all-knowing, all-wise. He said, O Adam, tell them the name of all these. When he told them their names, Allah said, did I not tell you that I know the secrets of the skies and of the earth, and that I know what you disclose and what you conceal? And when we said to the angels, prostrate yourselves before Adam, so they prostrated themselves, all but Iblis, Satan. He refused, showed arrogance, and became one of the infidels. In the previous episode, Allah called mankind to worship Him alone and laid the very foundation of faith. Now the surah shifts our attention to one of the most remarkable accounts in the entire Quran, the story of our father, Adam alayhi salam, the very first human being whom Allah created and appointed as the first Khalifah upon the earth. These verses take us back to a moment that occurred before mankind was even created. Allah reveals to us a profound conversation between Himself and His angels, a conversation that teaches us about the wisdom behind our creation and the purpose for which we were brought into this world. The story of Adam alayhi salam is mentioned 7 times throughout the Quran. Although this is the first detailed account we encounter in the present arrangement of the Quran, it was actually the 7th time this story had been revealed in the chronological order of revelation. By the time Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed, the first listeners of the Quran were already familiar with the account of Adam alayhi salam. Ayat 30. When Allah announced to the angels, indeed I am placing upon the earth a Khalifah, He was declaring His will to bring forth a new creation, mankind. Humanity was to dwell upon the earth, populate it, cultivate it, and live according to Allah's guidance. The title of Khalifa does not mean that mankind shares in Allah's sovereignty. Absolute authority over the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah alone. Rather, in His infinite wisdom, Allah entrusted mankind with the responsibility of acting as His stewards upon the earth, living according to His commandments, conveying His guidance to others, and establishing both spiritual and worldly order in obedience to Him. This was not simply an honor, it was a tremendous trust and responsibility. Humanity was never supposed to claim authority independent of Allah. Yet, throughout history, people have repeatedly fallen into the trap of becoming Hakmiyat ke Mudai, those who claim sovereignty and ultimate authority for themselves, instead of accepting Allah as Hakim-e Mukhlaq, the sole ruler and master of all creation. True Khilafah belongs only to those who submit to Allah's rule rather than competing with it. So, this announcement was far more than the appointment of a new creation. It was the beginning of humanity's test, whether we would faithfully carry this trust by submitting to Allah's authority or betray it by placing ourselves above His commands. The angels, in their perfect obedience and devotion to Allah, sought to understand this extraordinary decree. They did not question Allah out of objection or doubt, for the angels never disobeyed their Lord. Rather, they asked with humility, seeking to understand the wisdom behind His decision. They said, "Will you create there one who will spread disorder on the earth and cause bloodshed, while we proclaim your purity along with your praise and sanctify your name?" A question naturally arises. How did the angels know that the mankind would spread corruption and shed blood before human beings had even been created? The scholars have mentioned more than one explanation. One opinion is that before the creation of mankind, the jinn inhabited the earth. Allah had granted them free will, yet many of them spread corruption and violence. Seeing this, the angels expected that another creation endowed with free will might follow a similar path. They feared that this new creation, driven by intellect and desire, would bring ruin and devastation to this world. Another explanation is that Allah had informed the angels that His new creation would be His Khalifah upon the earth. The very concept of Khilafah signifies access to power, to privilege. From this, the angels understood that such a creation would possess the ability to choose between obedience and disobedience, between justice and oppression. Where choice exists, the possibility of corruption also exists. Centuries later, people would recognize part of this reality. A famous political maxim states, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely," which asserts that unchecked authority erodes moral restraint. It does illustrate a timeless truth. Authority, when divorced from the guidance of Allah, can become a means of oppression and corruption. Khilafah, therefore, is not merely a position of honor, it is an immense trust for which every person will be held accountable. Allah then answered the angels with the words that encompass limitless wisdom. "Certainly I know what you know not." Allah knew what the angels did not. He knew that from the among this new creation would arise His prophets and messengers, the truthful, the righteous, the scholars, the martyrs, and countless believing men and women who would worship Him sincerely, establish justice, and invite others to His path. In this single verse, Allah reveals both the honor and burden of humanity. The earth would be our stage, choice would be our test, and obedience to Allah would determine our success. This is the essence of Khilafah, not to live as the owners of this world, but as caretakers of a trust entrusted to us by Allah, not to pursue power for its own sake, but to use every blessing He grants us in service of His commands and for the betterment of His creation. Ayah 31. To demonstrate Adam's worthiness and the wisdom behind appointing him as Khalifa, Allah revealed the truth to the angels in a vivid and unmistakable way. He bestowed upon Adam alayhi salam a unique kind of knowledge, for which he alone had been endowed with the proper aptitude. That is to say, he taught him the names, the properties, and qualities of all existence, animate or inanimate. Angelic nature is not capable of such awareness. For example, an angel cannot really experience the pain of hunger and thirst, the tumult of passions, the torment from the bite of a snake, or the exhilaration from an intoxicant. Adam alayhi salam, however, was created with the capacity to learn, understand, and experience these things, and Allah taught him accordingly. The Holy Quran does not tell us exactly how this knowledge was imparted. It may have been taught openly before the angels, with Adam alayhi salam possessing the ability to comprehend what they could not, or Allah may simply have placed this knowledge within him directly, just as He places natural instincts within His creations. Like an infant knows how to suckle without being taught, and a duckling knows how to swim without instructions. Whatever the manner, the lesson remains the same. Allah grants every creation the abilities best suited to the purpose for which it was created. Allah then presented these realities before the angels and said, "Tell me their names if you are right." This was not intended to rebuke the angels, but to demonstrate the wisdom behind Allah's choice. Through this, He showed them that the knowledge, illuminated by Allah's guidance and divine light, would be the foundation of mankind's leadership and success upon the earth. There is also an important distinction to appreciate. Human beings possess acquired knowledge, knowledge gained through observation, study, experience, and investigation. But above all of this is revealed knowledge, the guidance Allah sends through His revelation. Acquired knowledge enables us to understand the world around us, while revealed knowledge teaches us why we exist, how we should live, and what awaits us after death. One benefits our worldly life, the other guides us to success in this world and in the hereafter. When the two are joined together under the guidance of Allah, mankind fulfills the true purpose of Khilafah. The unfolding of acquired knowledge can be seen throughout human history, from the earliest discoveries to the remarkable scientific and technological advancements of recent centuries. Mankind has continually uncovered the signs of Allah within creation. Yet every discovery, every invention, and every field of learning remains only a small portion of the knowledge that Allah has allowed humanity to acquire. This reminds me of a beautiful couplet by Ilama Iqbal. अरूजे आदम खाकी से अंजुम सहमे जाते हैं कि ये टूटा हुआ तारा माहे कामिल न बन जाए. As the son of the earth, Adam arises. Even the stars seem to tremble, lest this fallen star become a radiant full moon. It is a poetic reminder of the immense potential Allah has placed within mankind. When guided by revelation and devoted to His obedience, human beings can rise to extraordinary heights. But when knowledge is divorced from faith and humility, that same potential can become a source of corruption instead of guidance. Ayah 32. The angels stood before the Lord in complete humility and awe, saying, "To you belongs all purity. We have no knowledge except what you have given us. Surely you alone are the all knowing, all wise." With these words, Allah teaches us one of the greatest principles of faith. All knowledge belongs to Him alone. Whatever understanding any of His creations possess is only what He has chosen to grant them. The angels did not respond out of ignorance or embarrassment, but with complete humility. They openly acknowledged the limits of their knowledge and affirmed that true knowledge and perfect wisdom belongs to Allah alone, whose knowledge encompasses everything in the heavens and the earth. This is a timeless lesson for every believer. The first step towards true knowledge is humility before Allah. The more a person learns, the more they come to realize how little they truly knew. This admission did not diminish the rank of the angels. Rather, Allah created every angel for a specific purpose and granted each the knowledge necessary to fulfill the responsibility entrusted to them. In a metaphorical sense, the angels may be thought of as executors of Allah's commands throughout the universe. They deliver revelation, record the deeds of mankind, take souls at their appointed time, and carry out countless other responsibilities assigned to them by their Lord. Each angel possesses exactly the knowledge required for the task Allah has entrusted to them, never exceeding the limits He has set. Their response, therefore, was not an admission of weakness but a beautiful manifestation of perfect servitude. They never claimed knowledge they did not possess, nor questioned the wisdom of their Lord. Instead, they humbled themselves before Allah, teaching mankind that true honor lies not in knowing everything, but in recognizing that all knowledge ultimately belongs to Allah alone. Ayah 33. Allah then said, O Adam, tell them the name of all these. At Allah's command, Adam alayhis salam began naming them one by one, demonstrating the knowledge his Lord had taught him. When Adam had finished, Allah said to the angels, Did I not tell you that I know the secrets of the skies and of the earth, and that I know what you disclose and what you conceal? With this, Allah made his wisdom clear. Adam alayhis salam had not been honored because of physical strength, status, or lineage, but because of the unique gift of knowledge that Allah had granted him. His ability to understand, articulate, and connect reflected the divine gift of intellect given to humanity. Through this, Allah establishes an enduring principle. True leadership is not founded upon power, wealth, or arrogance, but upon knowledge guided by revelation. The more a person humbles himself to Allah's will and guidance, the higher their rank is before their Creator. Ayah 34. Then Allah said to the angels, Prostrate yourselves before Adam. Without hesitation, the angels immediately obeyed the command of their Lord and fell in prostration before Adam alayhis salam. This prostration was not an act of worship directed towards Adam alayhis salam, but an act of obedience to Allah. Another question naturally arises. What was this prostration for, and why did Allah command it? The prostration was not directed towards Adam alayhis salam's physical form, nor was it an acknowledgement of his divinity. Rather, it was a recognition of the honor Allah had bestowed upon Adam alayhis salam and through him upon mankind. Allah had breathed into Adam alayhis salam the soul he had created for him, taught him knowledge, and appointed him as his Khalifah upon the earth. Before we continue, it is important to understand the three creations whom Allah has endowed with a distinct self and moral responsibility: the angels, the jinn, and mankind. Although all three possess awareness, they have been created with different natures and for different purposes. The angels were created from Nur, light. They do not disobey Allah nor do they act according to personal desire. They carry out every command entrusted to them with perfect obedience. The jinn were created from smokeless fire. Like mankind, they possess free will and can choose between belief and disbelief, between obedience and rebellion. Human beings were created from clay and honored by Allah with intellect, free will, and the responsibility of Khalifah upon the earth. Understanding these distinctions help us appreciate what happens next. There is a profound difference between merely possessing consciousness and possessing a self that can freely choose between obedience and disobedience, between humility and arrogance. Between consciousness and self consciousness lies a world of difference. The Quran tells us that every angel prostrated except Iblis. This is an important point because Iblis was not an angel, he was a jinn who, through his knowledge, devotion, worship, and righteous deeds, had risen to such a lofty rank that he was present among the angels. Some narrations mention that his original name was Azazel. Yet, despite his elevated status, he still possessed free will. When Allah commanded him to prostrate, he refused. His refusal was not born of ignorance but of arrogance. He looked at Adam alayhis salam and said, in effect, How can I prostrate to one created from clay while I was created from fire? Rather than submitting to the command of Allah, he measured honor by origin. He saw himself as superior and failed to recognize the honor Allah had bestowed upon Adam alayhis salam. Pride gave birth to envy. Envy led to defiance. And defiance led him to reject the command of his Lord until he became among the disbelievers. How tragic that one who had worshipped Allah for countless years, attained such a high rank, and stood among the angels should fall through a single act of arrogance. Through his arrogance, he rejected Allah's command and became among the disbelievers, the kafir. This verse teaches us one of the greatest lessons in the Quran. True honor is not determined by what we are made of, where we come from, or what we possess, but by our obedience and submission to Allah. Adam alayhis salam was honored because he obeyed, while Iblis fell because he allowed pride to overrule Allah's command. Pride blinds a person to the truth, and if left unchecked, it can destroy a lifetime's worship. Up until this point, we have witnessed mankind's honor. Allah created Adam alayhi salam, taught him knowledge, distinguished him above the angels, and exposed the arrogance of Iblis. But the greatest test was yet to come. In the next episode, we will witness Adam alayhi salam's trial in paradise, his repentance, and Allah's everlasting promise of guidance for all who turn back to him. From Ayat 35 to 39. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or reflections, feel free to share them in the comments. I will respond where I can based on what is understood from the Quran and authentic Hadith.